Hi, Dr. Michelle Petacola here, and welcome to the question and answer session of the fourth day of the 5-day makeover challenge. Today we're going to talk about vision and gap. And I hope you've had a chance to look at the training that I posted this morning with my very helpful participant. Hi, thank you for joining. Ellen, who shared with us her vision, her 10-year, hi Lydia, thanks for coming back, her 10-year future vision. And it was really nice. It was really juicy. A villa in the Mediterranean overlooking the sea, and all of her clients being there, and her program getting larger, and it was really delightful. And in fact, her future self even told her she was on the right track. And she left the vision feeling uplifted and excited. But I would not be doing you a service if I told you that that's all you need to do, is just have a vision. Build it and they will come. It's not true. I know. I made a documentary film series, and I actually believed that if I built it, they would come. I thought, hi Mira, thanks for joining. I thought if I produced this amazing documentary film series and I did my first promotion, that suddenly people would be calling me everywhere. Well, that's not what happened. So let's go back. Hi Bruce, thanks for joining. So let's go back to Ellen again, just for a moment. So she wants a villa in the Mediterranean. The gap is looking at where you are now and where you need to go. Where are you right now? You really have to look at that. And you have to look at where you want to go in terms of what you need to get there. So for example, if she wants to buy a villa, it might be several $million. If she were to sell her home, would she have the money to invest in that? Okay, so maybe she doesn't actually want to buy the villa. Maybe she just wants to rent the villa. Okay, so you have to take a look at the costs of renting a villa. How long is she going to be there with her people? Is it a week, 2 weeks? How much airfare does she need to pay for herself? How much is it going to cost her clients? What about food, laundry, services? You need the figures. I'm not going to go there right now, but I want to invite you to understand, thank you, invite you to think about what your vision entails. 10 years ago, my husband and I purchased a fixer-upper in the Bay Area. It was the only thing that we could afford. And for the last 10 years, my husband has been working on the back building. It's an awesome space that's going to allow him a workshop, me a workspace, or an office space to hold workshops, and even an in-law unit. It's amazing. But he hasn't even finished the first part of the project. He's come a long way, but he's doing it all himself because he doesn't have the cash. So let me give you an idea of that destination and where you start. If you wanted to go from New York to San Francisco, it's close to 3,000 miles. And if you go by car, it could take you 43 hours. If you go by foot, a lot longer. If you happen to have the cash to go by airplane, by jet, you could get there in 8 hours. So it is a matter of what do you have to invest? And what do you want? Why do you want to get there? What is the motivation? So I told you I had this vision, or we have this vision about this house. And my husband's been working on it for 10 years. And from the very beginning, I wanted to make enough money to really contribute. Actually, I haven't been able to contribute to the project for years. He's been having to do it all himself. At the time, I was working in a documentary film series. I believed if I produced it, they would come. And I did this huge promotional launch, and 100 people showed up. They actually paid for tickets. And then crickets. I thought people would come knocking on my door. Nobody came knocking on my door. I had to learn how to become a speaker, a workshop leader, a promoter, and a coach. Eventually, I actually got a grant to take my work to the cancer community. But you know what? You can't get very far on $5,000 a year. So after I pretty much went the full round with my film series, I got a lot of colleges to buy it. It mostly paid for itself. I realized that filmmaking was maybe not the best way to get a lot of cash to help my husband. So I decided to become a coach. Now at the time, I didn't know the statistics. They don't tell you the statistics. And coaching was really taking off. The statistics are that out of the thousands of people who are certified as coaches every year, 90% drop out, quit in the first 2 years. 90%. And of that 10% that continue, 60% earn $30,000 or less. And that's where I was stuck. I was making enough to just get by, but I was not making the big cash. And it wasn't that I didn't invest. But there are two things. One is that in order to be a good coach, not only do you have to be a really awesome coach with something totally different, but you also need to know how to market and enroll. Now, I had taken a lot of marketing courses, and I had followed it all. I was out there speaking 2-3 times a month. I was promoting to my mailing list. I was promoting to Meetup. But I didn't quite have the enrollment down. In fact, it got to the point where I could barely get people to pay $300 for my program. You have to enroll a lot of people to make $100,000 in a year at $30 for every 6 weeks. At $300 for every 6 weeks. So I realized that that model was not going to work for me. So I looked around for another coach. And I found a coach who had the model, the life model I wanted. That life model meant not being huge, not doing big events, not having to travel all over the country, but actually to be able to stay in my own home and have time for my family, to have time to enjoy my life. So I invested several 5-figure investments with her to learn how to enroll, because in order to get higher paying clients, to get clients who are willing to pay 5 figures, I had to learn how to do that. And as I said, I barely knew how to get people to invest $300. Now that is part of it. It doesn't magically happen overnight. You have to do the work. But I'm a perseverer. I'm committed. I stay the course. But before I jumped in, I had to answer my own questions. Was it worth it? It was a lot of money. I'm 70 years old. Do I have the time? Of course, jumping into another coaching program, I had already done like 5. Did I have the time, in addition to running my business, to dedicate to it? And then there was the age issue. There are YouTubers out there that are making millions of dollars. But that's not me. Those are millennials. Millennials. Can I show up like that? Can I even show up on Facebook Live the way I look right now? Yes, are you waving? Yes, thank you. So I had to really think about this. Was I going to have the health to continue? My older sister, she's in her late 70s and she has major health problems. Am I going to be able to recoup the investment? Is it going to be worth it? Am I going to be able to make the money that I want, that I have envisioned? And you know what? I decided yes. I decided that I change lives through my marketing. I save lives through my marketing. That I'm here to make a difference. That my purpose is more than just enrolling people in making money, although that would be nice. My purpose is to influence as many people as I can to live on purpose, to live their dream, to live without regret and to die feeling like they have put their full self into this precious life. So that's what I decided, and I have moved forward. And that's what I ask you to consider, is where do you need to go? What is the gap? And what do you need to invest? You can't win the lottery unless you buy a ticket. I want to take a look a little bit at another area besides coaching, because you may not be a coach. You may, be interested in something else, like a relationship. And in the time that I was a grief coach, a lot of people were interested in new relationships. Turns out I'm actually really, really good at relationships. Not just because I grew up as a people pleaser, but because actually that was one of the things that my mother taught me how to do. So if you want to learn how to attract a man into your life and keep them, I'm the person you want to talk to. Here's what I found out. If you are a people pleaser, well, if you get involved with somebody, especially if you're a gal, because you're hoping that they're going to rescue you, that your partner is going to take care of you in your old age, you may be barking up the wrong tree. When I was working in hospice with partner loss, I ran into a lot of women who met the perfect dream husband, and then several years down the road they died. So one thing to remember is that if you put all your eggs in one basket, as my mother used to say, she said never do that, you may actually drain the lifeblood out of your partner. It may be in times past that it was possible for a man to support a wife and 6 children. It's not possible anymore. So that's number one. You do not want to put all the burden on your partner. You want to care about them. And I've certainly had clients who felt like their partner should take care of them. It's a mistake. But number two, when you step into your power, when you live your purpose, your relationship actually gets better because you feel empowered, because you learn to stand up for yourself. You learn how to sell yourself. And that may be a dirty word, sell yourself. Oh, enrollment, dirty word. But actually, we're doing that all the time. Whether we're doing it with our family, or we're doing it at our job, or we're doing it with our clients. That we have to lead, we need to enroll our people and let them know how it can be a win-win both ways. And you need to do that in a relationship too. Now, when I was going through my early coaching training, there were people that did really well. They were given the formula, they took the money and ran. They did great. And then there were others who tried to follow the formula and they would get some traction or maybe no traction at all. What I discovered was that part of it is the inside job. Do you feel that you're worthy? And if you don't feel that you're worthy, nobody else is going to believe that you're worthy either. So I had to do a lot of inner work in order to step up. Now, the good news is that when you do that inner work, you actually become a better coach. You become a better entrepreneur. You become a better leader. And that has been my journey to step more fully into my power. And I understand the challenge. I was a people pleaser. I know what it's like to try and please people and to be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, to be afraid to be who you are, to be vulnerable, to let people see the lines on your face, to see the gray in your hair. But when you do, that's what makes you different. That's what people are going to engage with you for, is when you show up totally as yourself. And by the way, that's the work that I do. Now, I can also teach you how to be a successful coach because that's my business. But I can teach any of you how to be more authentically yourself, how to realize your vision, how to set boundaries, how to ask for what you want, how to see the other person, and how to support them. So let me recap what I've covered today. Vision is part of the process. It's to create the destination so that you know where you're going. But you need to know where you are right now, and you need to understand and explore what the gap is between where you are now and where you need to go. You need to know that you have 3,000 miles between you here in New York and here you in San Francisco. And you need to have a plan for how you're going to travel those miles. You may have some ideas yourself. My experience is that you could spend a lot of time reinventing the wheel. There are people out there that are experts. It takes some learning, as I like to say, some kissing of frogs before you find your princess or prince, the person who's really going to be able to help you. Now, I'm the kind of person that whoever I work with, I am going to get something out of it. That's the kind of student I am. And I have no regrets for any of the coaches that I've signed up with and worked with. I have learned something valuable from every one of them. So yes, you do have to take a risk in terms of moving forward with your vision. But that's what makes it important, and that is part of the journey. So tomorrow, this is pretty much what I have today. If you have questions around this, please post it in the Facebook group. And tomorrow, I do not have training in the morning. The training is a live webinar on Zoom, which I will put a link in the group so that you can attend from 12:30 to however long it takes to get through the material. I'm going to be reviewing some of the material that I've covered in this week, and I'm going to be putting it all together so that you see how it all comes together. And we're going to look at what your next steps are. What can you do to realize your mission and purpose? And I would really like you to come prepared, so try and come on video so that you can post in the chat your questions. And if you have trouble, you can come, turn off your video and come on the phone at the same time so that you can post on your computer. I know it's a challenge right now. Zoom is very popular. Yes, we really should have all invested in it. I figured that out a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't do anything about it. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. Nurture, feed your vision. This is why you're here. This is your purpose. Don't let it fall by the wayside. Look at your blocks, see what's holding you back, and then get help and move forward. That's it for today. Have an awesome rest of the day. Enjoy the spring. And yes, I know we're still locked down. Enjoy some of the great videos that are out there. And be awesome and brilliant. Bye for now.